Alright, today's project is a 2012 Ford Transit Connect. The customer replaced a harmonic balancer for some reason, and now the vehicle doesn't run. So Ford decided to do away with all their keyways on all their engines. So as soon as you take the bolt loose on the crankshaft, you're done. It's out of time. See, it takes a lot of special tools, or not a lot of special tools. It takes these two special tools. This bar that goes into camshafts, and this little peg that goes up against the crankshaft itself. And what is that number? So if you have these tools, then you can take the crankshaft bolt out and the harmonic balancer off and all that stuff without issues. So this has got issues. It was towed in. So now we're going to retime it and hopefully nothing got damaged. Start up so it runs. And we got to lift this truck, get it in the air to do what we got to do. But we also got to take the axle out to get to put that little bolt in the engine. So we're going to lift this crooked. So when I set up this side of the lift, it's going to be lower than the other side. So the truck will actually lift like this, and it'll help keep the fluid in the transmission so it's just not dripping. Oops, excuse me. So it's not dripping the whole time we're working on it. So before we do anything else, we're going to get this valve cover off because we need to get access to the camshafts. All my vehicles are in neutral when they're in my bay. So I can roll back and forth if I need to on the lift. So I just take the negative battery cable off because it could kill the battery. A lot of the new ones, if they're in keys not out of ignition, it'll have a small draw. Stubborn spark plug loop here. there away here. Fuel injector connectors undone. Iron arm's going to be aggravating. So I will attempt to sneak that right by that. Take this degas bottle out of the way. Hopefully I can go right out from the harness with it. One bolt. It's supposed to come out of there, but it did. No biggie. Always forget about 2 in the middle. Sounds a little better. And we're out. So we need to get access to this back of this camshafts here. They're slotted. So we'll slide that piece into it. But next we're going to get the vehicle in the air so we can turn the crankshaft. Alright, so here's the passenger axle. And here's the engine. And the plug we're after, I got a light up in here, is right there. So it hits the axle. So we're supposed to take the axle out. We're going to attempt to just slide it that way enough to get our bolt in there. We'll see what happens. You can see how this could really affect things. So there's our trigger wheel. So I mean, if this moved just one tooth from where it should be, it's going to run really bad. It won't be completely out of time. You know, you could have your crank and cam relationship dead on the money, but if this is turned where these teeth don't line up for the degrees of rotation on the crankshaft, it's run really, really bad. Don't think we moved enough. I don't know, maybe. Let's give it a shot. Not gripping, we'll move that out of the way. Take that bolt out. Put these bolts in a ridiculous spot and they're super tight and it doesn't hold anything together. It's just a plug. The plugs they hold. That wasn't too bad. So this is our plug, and that allows us access to the crankshaft. So that's the amount. We've got the axle out, and it's dripping a little bit. Drip on the floor there, which is okay. And here's our area where we're going to put this. So it just goes on there. Covered up my light. Sorry. So that goes just like that. We'll screw that all the way in. Now we're going to gently turn the crankshaft. Can't see anything until we hit that. Alright, so right there we've hit the peg. Then we'll bring it back down and see where our camshafts are. This fan smells like wet dog hair. So anyway, there's our slots. And they actually don't look too terribly bad. Let's try and get a wedge in here. Alright, this harness is in the way of looking at this camshaft. Let's see the other one. So this just slides in, like so, and perfect. So you can see how this bar just slides in, lays against the head, and we're slid into the cam's perfect. So the cam and crank are aligned, which is a good thing. And evidently our balancer is just off as far as where the teeth go. So this should be a pretty easy fix. Alright, so we've got our peg against the block and against the counterweight of the crankshaft. And we're able to slide our bar in the back of the cam, so our engine is timed. So we got lucky, so we didn't worry about having to bend anything or whatever. However, our crank pulley is not timed to the crankshaft via our little trigger wheel here. Because we have you'll see right there, we have a missing tooth. And that's got to be set up to indicate, number one on the crankshaft, and it's way over here. And the way you know it's out of time is because there's a hole in the crankshaft right here, and it lines up with a threaded hole in the block and the timing cover. So we're gonna take the belt off, take this pulley bolt loose, spin this around, put a bolt through that hole, thread it in, and we're gonna tighten this back down, put the belt back on, check. We'll take all our tools off, spin it 2 turns, put our tools back in if it's good to go, put the valve cover back on, and ship it. See how easily that turns, and it's obviously not keyed. Alright, so there's a tool to hold this pulley with, but gotta drop the motor down and get it in there. We don't really need it. That's all that's needed to hold that together. So you can see this bolt here. This is just a 6x1 bolt. Goes into the hole that threads into the timing cover there. Put this belt on here. We're on all the ribs. I'll slide the axle out back in. Check out how magnetized this clutch is. Look at the metal shavings hanging off of that thing. Down there. This gasket's in good shape, so we're going to reuse it. up?
One piece of scrap iron.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna drive this straight from my bay to the parking lot. Well, I think they like groom dogs on the weekend or something like that. No, it's wet dog hair and ashtray, you know?
Ooh.
Lovely combination.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing we don't have smell-o-vision. Of course, those cooking shows, it'd be nice to have smell-o-vision.
Oh, good.
There's Emerald Lagasse setting.
Mm. Yep.
So when's the big day for you? Gotta be coming, ticking down. We having a big party, strippers, and
Oh, I don't know about all that.
having a midget pop out of a cupcake. Nice.
30th of September.
I used to 30th of September.
Mm-hmm.
I used to live in Atlanta, Georgia,
Oh, Lord.
and they're pretty progressive down there, you know. They call it Hot Atlanta. It's like the sex capital of the United States. And the local grocery store, it was a Kroger grocery store, and the local grocery store,
Audio.
the guy was retiring, and they had a stripper inside the grocery store doing a striptease for him, lap dance, the whole 9 yards. They had singles night there. Like, you could go meet
In a
people
grocery
in grocery
store?
shopping. Yeah, they'd have a single, like a damn disco inside the damn grocery store. It's a trip.
They set us a class down there one time. Partially to shoot. We just hit the outskirts of things, but I would not live there.
It was, you know, at the time I was in high school and I didn't have a car. And if you're going to live there, not unless you live way downtown, which you really wouldn't want to live at, the public transportation is not the greatest in the world. So, well, I actually lived in Marietta, which is on the outskirts. I was only like 10 miles from Six Flags. We go to Six Flags like you go to the park. Where are you going? I'm going to run out of Six Flags for a couple hours. All right, no problem.
Marietta, that's where Travis Cook's from, huh?
Is it?
Yep.
Not much of a country music fan, so I'll take your word for it. At the time, I didn't know it, but I lived in a not so great area. Looked all right to me. Of course, I'm from South Carolina, and nowhere's a great area there. But man, we went back one time. I didn't recognize the place. I was like, holy cow, we used to live here. It was pretty depressing. Wouldn't want to live there again. What are you gonna do with all your spare time? Gonna join a band?
No, I don't know what's going on.
Play spoons?
Oh, that guy down here wants me to do something part-time.
How are you gonna deliver parts?
No. I'm not that familiar with the area for that.
Bruce, you lived here like 30 years, man.
But I don't get around how where all these little garages are and everything.
Not going back to New York?
I don't know yet.
Ain't you got kin folk up there?
Yep.
I'm sure they'd love to see you.
Oh, yeah.
All them millions all them big checks you'll be cashing, them big retirement checks. Huh? No? I didn't hit a bad sore spot, did I?
No.
Over there twitching it. Making funny clicking noises.
You gotta do
That is
something
not
with
the right size, huh?
it. Gonna have to do something though.
What's this part-time stuff you're talking about? Is that hush-hush? Can't
No,
discuss
it's
that?
just
Contractually
friend.
bound not to talk about it?
Friend of a friend got, this farm machinery, trucks and stuff to keep up. He ain't
Oh, yeah.
got to do it now. The guy
Bruce.
that was doing it passed away here about a year ago.
That sounds like work.
I know, that's why I'm hesitant.
That sounds like more work than here.
Yeah. But it wouldn't be all the time,
Yeah, that's what he
it
tells you till you get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
Be wearing your ass
I've
out.
done this before.
They put
Couple
you.
things to do here, keep you busy a couple times a week, and shoot. Ended up being
He'll
here
have
for
you.
4 years.
He'll have you on a cot in the back. Won't even let you leave.
Yeah, that's what I had when I first moved down here. Part-time job, well, full-time, but it was, whenever something tore up or oil
For that
change
fella you
coming-
talking about?
No, this was out in Durham. And ended up till I got all this stuff straightened out and running good and didn't have no problems for a while. He said, come on. They put me on this landscaping group. I know, man.
Damn, Bruce.
So I did that for 4 years. Which I enjoyed that pretty much, but god dang, it's a whole lot of work.
Can you come over and plant me a rose garden?
I ain't cheap.
My wife's got a.
Plant flowers in my house.
She's got a garden that she's. Look at the devil. Hello?
What you doing?
Just chit-chatting with Bruce about retiring.
Bruce is retiring.
Yeah. Say hello, Bruce.
Hello.
Hi, Bruce.
How you doing?
You know he
Good,
ain't.
how are you?
You know he ain't no spring chicken.
Shoot.
I think you're going to retire.
Yeah. They can retire around 42 around here.
What? I will.
You're funny that you're past retirement.
Not working at Sale.
Yeah. You're working for free.
That's right.
I'm gonna go check my battery.
Alright, you want to call the text message and how it's going.
No, I got pretty busy. Got a motor engine, diesel engine motor thingy tore up.
Oh, what's going on with that Fiesta?
It's so far on the back burner. I just pushed it outside.
Oh, okay.
Not good. Not good at all.
Why?
Because it's outside when it needs to be inside being worked on.
I know, but why is he even slacker about it?
Why? What?
Why are you being a slacker about it?
Well, procrastination is my game.
Alright.
Alright. Alright, so this vehicle was towed in and I didn't want to start it. I pushed it in the shop because I was afraid I might damage something. So let's start it up and see what happens. Check the oil first. Do some basic checks. We need a little bit of antifreeze, so we'll top that off too. Our specialty orange antifreeze. And we are dead on the money with oil. We're good to go there. So let's fire it up. I'm gonna roll it back a little bit so I can get the door open. That's what we wanted to hear. Broom. Give her a little more. We lost a little transmission fluid, so we'll see what the level is on that. Wasn't enough to get excited about, but it could have been low to begin with. Right on the money. Here's where we put our silicone. See a little dab right there. She looks good. So I said I wasn't going to drive it, but I got to drive it. So I'm going to go drive it and put it out. Move on.